Alright guys, how's it going? I wanted to record this video for you yesterday, but a few things went wrong. I was a bit stressed out, so I'm a little bit behind on the videos. I hope you're okay. So, one question I do see supporters asking themselves quite a bit at the moment, since the Edwards news, is could Jurgen Klopp U-turn and now stay at Liverpool Football Club now that Edwards is back? Although technically Edwards is with FSG and not so much LFC. I think you really need to understand the difference here that Richard Hughes is going to be the main man with the transfers, okay? The answer is no. I don't think there is any chance of Jurgen Klopp U-turning on his decision to leave Liverpool Football Club. And I think that one of the reasons, if not the reason, that Edwards left Liverpool Football Club was because of what he might call interference being undermined and things like that by people that he thinks shouldn't have been sticking their oar in and stuff like that. And I don't know where you are with these things, but for me, the manager should be the person that makes the decisions when it comes to contracts and things like that. What I mean by makes decisions as to who should get a contract. If the manager says, I want Jordan Henderson to extend his stay with me, and a sporting director says, I don't think that's a good idea, I think the sporting director should mind his own fucking business, because the manager's saying, I can see as a manager that he offers me something to this team and I want to retain him. Now, on the financial side of it, the manager has to accept if the sporting director or the manager, the general managers, the owners, say we can't finance the demands, then a manager you would expect would go, I understand that. If he's taking the piss, then fine. But if it's within our financial things, which Jordan Henderson would have been, for example, then I would like that doing. And there was a lot of suggestions that there was problems with this previously, this kind of things, and Jordan Henderson was one of them. And this is why I think we saw this Edwards would come back, but only with more control kind of thing, because I don't think he wanted to be in a position where he was maybe challenging, which you can understand maybe, like you're the sporting director, you've hired me for my advice, so what's the point of giving you my advice if you don't fucking listen? It's the too many cooks in the kitchen kind of thing, isn't it? But who should it lie with? This is a really good question for you guys. Do you think it should rest with a sporting director, football director, whatever you want to call them, or should the manager? I think you would agree with me that the manager should be the one saying, I want to retain that player. Can we do it with the budget? And if the suits say, well, yeah, we can, but I don't think you should keep him, they should back the fuck off. Do you know what I mean? Would you agree with that? If they turn around and say, he's taking the piss, Jurgen, I think you're going to be the first one to go, fuck him then. Would you agree? So there was definitely an issue here with the working relationship. And in an article yesterday by The Athletic, for example, Klopp's departure this summer was seen as providing ideal timing for Edwards to return. And I want to pick out specific quotes in relation to Klopp here. There is another crucial factor in Edwards' decision to return. It may have been less than 2 years since he left Liverpool, but the club will look and operate very differently in the looming absence of Klopp. With his success and longevity since being appointed manager in 2015, the German had become increasingly influential across all areas of the club. Before Edwards' exit, having a key say in everything from player recruitment to pre-season arrangements. And I think that's the way it should be, right? This insinuates that Michael Edwards didn't think that way. At times, there was friction with Edwards and Klopp over issues such as player contract extensions and training ground staff retention, with both feeling they should have the final word. Do you see? This is what, when we look back and when we discussed, his departure from the club, Edwards' departure from the club, many of us were like, I remember saying, like, he's leaving the club when we're at our most successful. It doesn't make sense. You see, something's happening. We were all discussing, maybe something's going wrong. What is it? And I always, what do I say to you? It will become clearer further down the line. Yeah? And I think we have clarification of this. Now, I want to add further to this now, if I can find this, I want to point something else out to you, because I know some of you will now turn round and tell me, oh, Jurgen said that he had a good relationship with Edwards. Listen, right, what they say publicly and what happens behind the scenes are two different fucking things, trust me. And I know this from the horse's mouth because I've employed people from Liverpool Football Club, sat down with owners of Liverpool Football Club and directors and all sorts of people. I've sat down with players of Liverpool Football Club that wanted to have other players shot, but on the pitch they would still pass the ball to each other because they'd be total professionals. But what goes out publicly, it's a bit like in your own house, you and your wife or whatever might have a big fucking argument, or you and your husband. But you go out publicly and you see people, hiya, yeah, we're just taking dog for a walk, aren't we? Smile, you fucker. Right, do you know what I mean? So, those fans are the most naive fans and the most annoying fans on the internet, without a fucking doubt. The ones that believe everything they're fucking told. It doesn't mean behind everything that they're always lying or there's always a conspiracy theory. But clearly in this case there was an issue. Klopp said, Jurgen Klopp was talking about the return of Michael Edwards, right? And Klopp has revealed that Edwards has already called him to ask him about certain players and changes that need to be made this summer, right? Okay. And Klopp said, we've had that conversation. We always had a good relationship, very good on a professional basis. And that is the key point in that sentence that backs up the previous quotes I just told you about, Klopp had too much, was, too powerful in the club, etc., etc. And I think it explains why we saw Jurgen previously starting to become more stressed at press conferences. And, we had the, let's call it a rumour, it was on the members' website. I can't remember when it was. One of you will know, the day when he allegedly banged the mobile phone down, which we think was to do with Bellingham, right? So, and all these things, in my opinion, contribute to Jurgen Klopp wanting to leave the club. Just getting too much of it, sick of it all, even though Edwards has gone. And the Boy George appointment was all very strange. Like, we were being told, it's a friend of Jurgen's, but people in Germany were saying they hardly fucking know each other, they shared a room once or something like that. All really strange goings on. And I think the more that, all the coaching staff leaving as well as the manager, often there is a change like that, but everyone's adamant they're leaving. It really, to me at the time, I was like, why? You know what I mean? And is it because they all got a whiff of what was going to happen? Maybe there was loyalty to the boss, whatever. We are speculating at this point. This point, speculation. I don't want you to think I'm shit stirring. You form your own opinions. But it just makes it, like everyone's off. It's like, fuck that, I'm not staying here. Oh, no, he's not fucking, he won't. No, I get it. I kind of understand it. But let's stick with what I think is factual. Because I can't prove. I think that Edwards left the club because of this power struggle internally. Jurgen was having too much of a say and he didn't fucking like it. And that's why he came back with the I want more saying of everything. Because I don't want to be put in that situation again. Perfect timing, Klopp leaving for him to come back. The examples of arguing over player contracts and things like that. Jurgen saying we had that conversation. We've had a conversation. We always had a really good relationship, very good on a professional basis, which basically translates to can't stand a cunt, to be honest with you. But we got on all right for the benefit of the club. But he says he's happy that he said his conversation was great. We spoke about a lot of things. It doesn't mean he was asked if Edwards had tried to persuade him to reverse his decision and said no because he's not dumb. And it doesn't mean that there is and this is something that's got to be made very clear. It doesn't mean that there's a big issue, like fucking hating each other or something like that. It just means like people can be on a different page but still respect each other. Do you know what I mean? I have family members, right, that I fucking absolutely love and they love me, right? But there's certain topics we can't talk about. But say politics or maybe royalty or something like that. Because I just know that they would say something and I would go, that's not actually accurate. But to them it would be. And you end up having them stupid little discussions. Not fallouts, but like, you just don't talk about politics, fucking religion and all that shite, do you? So it doesn't mean that you hate everyone, you know? So maybe Jurgen and Edwards just like, they've got maybe different thinking of how a club should be run, right? Things change, yeah? Rafa Benitez, one of the greatest managers ever, in my opinion, just sacked now, you know, by Celta Vigo in Spain. They're off relegation. Is it because he's no longer a good coach? Is it because he hasn't adapted a little bit? Does Jurgen Klopp think that he should be the man running the show like Sir Alex Ferguson did at Manchester United? Or should a sporting director be running the show? Do you know what I mean? So maybe Michael Edwards was right with the things that he said. Maybe he was right. Maybe Jurgen was wrong. How loyal is he going to be with Jurgen? But maybe he was wrong. But in my opinion, he's the fucking manager. So if the manager says, I want that player on another 2-year deal or whatever, I want him on another 2 fucking year deal because I know what he offers me in my squad. You know what I mean? I've got an itchy nose. Don't worry, I don't do drugs out like that. I've just had my hair cut. You tell. I've got bits of hair all over. Never touched drugs, man. I've fucking never done that. Ever. Never been into drugs or out, guys. If it's actually a thing, you do it. You know what I'm saying? I just like to drink. But I also understand a sporting director can say, well, we can't, you know, financially it's wrong. But I don't think the sporting director should be calling the fucking shots with the team. Unless said player is asking too much money or something like that. All right? So, not a chance in a million years could Jurgen Klopp U-turn on his decision. I think if Jurgen Klopp had stayed at Liverpool Football Club, I don't think Edwards comes back. That's what I think. Because they had very different ways on how things should be done. And without wanting to shit stir or create conspiracy theories, and with absolutely no basis or foundation or proof whatsoever, it just makes me wonder sometimes if like Jurgen was just a bit fucking sick of everything, even though Edwards has gone, because Julian Ward's departure was also fucked up if you think about it. Gets his dream job, and then he's fucking off, gone. You know, was he going, I can't work with Jurgen, he wants to fucking do everything? Was he on the same page as his pal Michael Edwards? You'd expect them to be, wouldn't you? You know? So I think there's a lot that we don't know about. You know, the appointment of Boy George on a temporary basis, it suggested something was off at the time. You know, we now know that Jurgen was planning on fucking going. He'd had enough. I'm still convinced that Jurgen, at the last straw was the Bellingham situation. I'm still convinced that. No point trying to pull me up in the comments saying he wanted to go to Madrid, because me and others know for a fucking fact that him and his family or whatever were in Liverpool trying to work and secure that deal. So, but you're entitled to your opinions, that's fine. But when a player doesn't make it to one club and then signs for another and goes, I always wanted to come here. If you believe that, then I've got some fucking ice to sell you for an igloo. Am I an Eskimo? I'm a sumo, more like a sumo. But you know what I mean, fuck that. So, there you go, that's it. That's what I wanted to say. Just wanted to point them things out about Jurgen Klopp not returning to Liverpool Football Club. Michael Edwards, an absolute master of controlling the narrative. We did a video about this the other day. The members were fucking great. That video I did on here the other day, I think I said, oh, you're not missing anything. It's not. But I actually recorded that video, published that video. And then I thought that's one of the most insightful and interesting videos I feel like I've done in a fucking year, honest. Thought it was all right, just saying. And I'm going to... No, I can't say what I want to say. We haven't seen... I'm going to leave this with you. We haven't seen a great deal of information come out of Liverpool Football Club for a long time. However, we have seen almost running commentary with regards to the appointment of Michael Edwards. And there is a theme with all of that reporting by the proper journalists, not the fucking them lot on there, the proper journalists, all, suggesting the sun shines out of his arse. And I think Michael Edwards is a fucking genius at making himself sound very, very good. And maybe that's justified. Maybe he is very good. but I think he's genius. Don't forget the salary he's on now. He's now up there with some managers, right? So that boy is fucking played it well, very good. And I think that a lot of what you see in the media, well, I just think he controls the narrative a lot. And that's been written in the last few days. And if you were to Google that, you'd see what I mean. So, but that's not a bad thing necessarily. But if you're FSG, right, in the last few days, and you've seen all this information coming out, right, and you got journalists at The Athletic, we're not talking about the Daily Star here or Talk Sport. You got journalists at The Athletic saying, we've spoke to club insiders and FSG insiders who didn't have permission to talk. And they're like this, right? Whoever it was, whether it was one source or multiple sources, as The Athletic claim, which I don't believe anyway. If you're FSG, you know what's going on. So that means you can't trust some fucker in your organisation, right? So I would keep an eye on how much stuff how much comes out, because I can understand the let's Michael Edwards sound brilliant bit. It's just his appointment. That's not really, great, dangerous that those things are out there. But I don't think the ownership would think too kindly about other things being out there, if that makes sense. So I would be very surprised if you saw running commentary about the next manager of Liverpool Football Club, for example. I think they've just turned a blind eye to what has been written the last few days. I hope you understand what I've been saying in this video, because I really would like to say a bit more, but I'm not sure how to say it. All right. If you appreciate this video, please thumbs up the video. It doesn't mean you agree with everything I say in it. Please leave me a comment. That's really important. And I'm going for a beer tomorrow afternoon, 12 o'clock UK time. Fucking hell, it's going to be carnage, isn't it, guys? Bri Partridge, one of the members, is over in Benidorm with his friends. I think they've come to watch rugby. They're watching Cheltenham and all that right now. And they're coming up to my local tomorrow, which will be nice. So we're going to have a few sherbets tomorrow afternoon. So we're doing Saturday night streaming on here. Saturday night, don't do anything Saturday night. Get on here. We have some music, have a few drinks, some jokes, giggles and all that. Around R7 UK time, right, Saturday night. That's why I'm going out Friday, so Saturday's free. All right. So hit that super thanks when you can get me a beer. If you're a Muslim, don't worry. You can get me a coffee on Saturday morning when I'm like, oh, God, I need a coffee. Do you know what I mean? All right. Listen, I'll do a morning briefing tomorrow before I go out. And I will give the shout outs to the amazing people that have done just that have bought me a coffee or a beer or whatever, because it helps, guys. It goes in kitty, do you know what I mean? It fucking comes in once a month around 22nd, right, and I'm skint by 23rd again. But if it weren't for you guys, it'd be a lot fucking harder, trust me. All right, so that's it for now. Let me know your thoughts on this video. Hope you're enjoying Cheltenham. I've had a couple of winners, so I'm enjoying it. I could do with a couple more, though. Could always do with a couple more, or a lottery win, do you know what I mean? But yeah, I think that's just us in life, innit? Well, I don't think we're ever going to be a John Henry at the top of the fucking tree, or a Michael Edwards that's fucking, convinced everyone he's fucking amazing. Do you know what I mean? Fuck off. I'm not falling for all this shit. Right, I'll speak to you in a bit, guys. I love you, man. Live stream tonight. We'll do a live stream tonight. All right.